Hello everyone, it's Mark Scholaro, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and today I'm chilling like a villain behind the wheel of this absolutely beautiful 1967 Ford Mustang Sports Sprint convertible that's been nicknamed Frosty. Come meet this special pony car. To start off this presentation here, this is a non-rehearsed video. There's a lot of information during this presentation that I am going to forget, although I will be referencing my notes. So please visit our website at msclassiccars.com for a full description with tons of highly detailed photos. We really go above and beyond with our photography to show you as much of the car as possible. You got to check that out. If you have or have not been following MS Classic Cars, please note I only collect number 1, number 2 condition vehicles. We've been doing that since inception. We are the only classic car dealership in the country that services every vehicle we sell. We document that work with an invoice that's pictured within the photo gallery. Once the vehicles are done in service, we bring them to our detail department and we detail them from head to toe to the highest level every single time. Once the vehicles are done, again, we put these presentations together with the photography, the videos, and I am the person that will answer your email, answer your phone call. You can deal directly with me. Once the car is purchased, I'm the one who does the paperwork. I make sure we set up all the enclosed transportation. We even cover the car with a plastic cover when it goes inside the trailer, so it arrives at your doorstep as clean as possible. So please, again, visit msclassiccars.com. Check out our whole entire website, including our sold page. You will see over 700 vehicles have been sold that we're all very, very proud of. So, in regards to this particular vehicle here, this is a very special car. It's got a great story. So what I'd like to do first in this presentation is talk a little bit about the car, what it is, and then kind of lead into the story from there. So let's start off by saying I have this beautiful binder here. This is brand new. I do a binder with every single car that I sell, and what I do is I organize everything in the binder as I've done here. I spend countless hours doing this. I put everything in order methodically here with plastic sleeves and so forth. So I did that all yesterday, and this came out absolutely beautiful. The first thing I'd like to touch base on is this Marti Auto Works, what they call Deluxe Report. I want to talk a little bit about that. The nice thing about these earlier Mustangs, I believe it was 1967 that they actually started with these. So you cannot get them on the earlier cars, 64 and a half, 65, and 66. But in 67, they started documenting what the vehicles were from the manufacturer. This is a great, great source. I wish every company did this because it would make our jobs a lot easier, documenting what these vehicles were originally born as. But with the Marti report here, it clearly shows us what this vehicle was. So this vehicle was built at Dearborn as a 1967 Mustang convertible. It tells you here that it was Frost Turquoise paint, which is Ford number 1734A, and it had Aqua standard bucket interior. It shows that it was part of the Omaha ordering district, because the car was sent to H.P. Smith Motors in Omaha, Nebraska. So again, it shows what it was built as. The vehicle had an original 200 inline 6-cylinder engine. It was a 1-barrel carburetor. It had a 3-speed manual transmission with a 3.20 standard axle ratio. It also shows you on this report here what the vehicle was actually ordered with. And this is where it gets really interesting with this particular car. So it had a white manual top. It also had the 3-speed transmission, as I mentioned earlier. It had the 14-inch ply rated tires. Those are bias ply tires. It also had the white rayon sidewall tires, which you will see on the car today. It has white walls. And it also has the rocker panel molding, and it has wheel covers. Now, the one thing that's listed on here that makes this car very unique is it has the Sports Sprint package. This is a very, very cool thing, because over here, besides showing when the order was received, when the car was actually scheduled to be built, when it was built, which by the way was actually June 20th of 1967, when it was released to the dealer, and when it was actually reported sold, which was actually July 7th, 1967. But statistics are the key. This vehicle is one of only 8,527 with the Sports Sprint package. It also is one of only 1,610 with this paint code, and one of 827 with this paint code and with this trim code. So this is a very, very special car in that regard, and very rare. So let's touch base before I get into some more details on the car. Let's talk quickly, and I'm going to reference my notes here so I don't make any mistakes, what the actual Sports Sprint package is all about. So basically, it was an entry-level sport option package, which included the hood vents, the recessed turn signals, white wall tires, full wheel covers, bright metal rocker panel molding, chrome air cleaner, and vinyl covered shift handle if it was an automatic transmission at the time. In early 1967, the Sports Sprint package was only offered in the hardtop body style, but in June of 1967, the convertible was included. Oftentimes, these Mustangs were ordered in special colors, such as springtime yellow, dust rose, and most included a deck lid mounted luggage rack at a reduced price. Ford offered a set of promotional ads for this particular vehicle, calling it a limited edition, and included it as part of the 3rd birthday celebration of the Mustang. So the real reason that Ford did all of this is because most of the cars that customers were coming in to purchase or wanted were 8 cylinders. At the time, gas was really not a problem in this particular generation time frame, so gas costs weren't really a concern. So people figured for a very small difference in cost, they would purchase the 8-cylinder engine. So Ford wanted to increase the sales of the 6-cylinder. They wanted to make it more interesting, so they figured this would be the perfect way to do it, is to make a Sports Sprint package. Well, now all these years later, you see a lot more 8 cylinders than you do 6 cylinders. So when you find one of these cars, it actually becomes a very, very, very rare thing. And it becomes, to some people, even more collectible than if they had bought an 8 cylinder. So here it is today. That's kind of the whole story of this particular car regarding what it was born as, what the packages are, and everything else. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the things that are included here. So again, we have the Marti Auto Report. This is the Deluxe Report. They also have a standard report. That's the less expensive of the 2 reports. That was ordered first, and then this one was ordered second. And then there's a bunch of information here, as I discussed. So talking about what makes this particular car special and its history is, as I mentioned on the Marti Auto Report, it basically was delivered on July 7th, 1967 to a customer in Nebraska. Well, that particular customer kept the car all the way until 2010, but they parked the car in 1980. So they kept it for obviously many years. They drove it. They had accumulated over, I believe it was 64,224 miles to be exact, before parking the car. And they parked it in a open shed, again, where it sat for the next 30 years before it was discovered in 2010. Now, the gentleman who discovered the car in 2010, he really needs no introductory to the world of the MCA, the Mustang Club of America. His name is Marti Rupp. He is a MCA Gold Card judge. He specializes in the 67 and 68 Mustangs. So he had gotten word that this car was actually sitting in that open shed. He went out there with his truck and trailer. He purchased the car. He saw a lot of opportunity with the car, even though the car, you know, had deteriorated a little bit over time and needed a full restoration. Again, sometimes the beauty of doing a restoration is seeing in your mind what it's going to look like when it's completed, and that's exactly what Marti did. So Marti brought the car back to his facility, which was also in Nebraska, and it was just a short time later that he met with Tom McCool, who actually is the gentleman that I purchased this vehicle from. And Tom and his wife Lisa did not originally aspire to do a full concours restoration, but they wanted to keep the Mustang as close to how it was built from the factory. So they talked Marti, who was reluctant to actually sell the vehicle to them. They talked him into not only selling it, but also doing a complete restoration. So that's kind of how it all started. So during that time frame, they had taken a lot of pictures. They had done a lot of things during that 18-month roughly time frame that the car was being restored. So I would like to bring out this item here. This is actually the photo album. Tom had actually put this together for me when I purchased the car. What I did is I kind of reorganized some of these photos, and I thought which would be a cooler order here. But it basically says that I'm a Ford Mustang Sport Sprint convertible born on June 20th, 67. In 1980, my previous owner parked me in a shed where I sat for 30 years enduring the harsh Nebraska winters, and he turned me into total rust bucket. And then it basically just shows here what the vehicle actually looked like when Marti had actually taken it. Here's a picture of it in the open shed area, which I thought was really cool. You don't get a chance to see that very often. And then, of course, it shows when he brought it back to his facility, brought it inside the facility, and this is where the restoration process began, and you will clearly see the vehicle in its current state. We posted all these pictures within our photo gallery, and then again it shows here I was rescued in 2010. My total restoration took almost 2 years. As I said, it was roughly 18 months. I have been fully restored to look like the day I rolled off the assembly line. So you can see all the attention that they gave this car with sheet metal, body preparation, shows it on the rotisserie here. Again, they primed it, painted it. Again, it was painted in its original color. Again, this is really great to see all this, again, on the rotisserie stand here. Of course, the engine came out, the engine was rebuilt, and so forth. One note I do want to make aware of, in case people are wondering, it was during the restoration time that they decided to replace the 3-speed transmission that was mostly done for Tom's wife, Lisa, so she could drive the car. She preferred an automatic, so they actually chose a C4 automatic transmission. They had that rebuilt, so you'll see that in the pictures here with the original motor. And then, of course, during its time, my restoration's now complete. My new owners, Marti, think I'm ready for car shows. And then it says here, you know, there's pictures of the car. And then we fast forward to the end here, and it says, my owners have entered me in a Mustang Club of America national show for the 67-68 Concours Driven category. This is a big show. It shows the car. It shows some awards. There's a picture of the car there. It shows it you know, everything is very well documented. And then, of course, when it was the award time, all the awards were handed out, and this car won a gold award. That is a very big deal. So let's talk quickly about that. In this binder that I have here, I also have all the judging sheets for the MCA Concours Trailered or Driven Judging Sheet. You can see all this in our photo gallery. This is all of the scores and so forth. It's really great when you can get these sheets with the car, so that clearly stays with the car. And to get a gold is a very, very big deal. In regards to some of the awards, we have a bunch of pictures that we've included in our photo gallery of the awards that this car has achieved. Those awards are included. We put a list together here, and we have some pretty impressive awards starting from 2012. That was the time frame that the car was finished, up until about 2015. That's roughly when they stopped kind of showing the car. They've accumulated about 2,000 miles on the car, you know, since it was finished, taking it to car shows. They put it in some parades and things like that. So this car really has been brought back to life. It's a really special deal here and something that I'm very proud of. I wanted to just end that part of the presentation here with saying this, and this was quoted from Tom. It said, "Lisa and I," he's referring to his wife again, Lisa, "were fortunate to assist in the restoration of this true piece of Americana. If cars could talk, I'm sure our Mustang would say, 'Thank you for rescuing me.'" So that just sums kind of everything up there regarding the car, and all of the restoration photos that I just showed you are obviously included. And then also in this binder here, as I mentioned before, all of these restoration receipts and everything else is also included. You will notice in the back of this binder, I have a magazine from the MCA, the Mustang Club of America, which I will also like to make mention of. I've been a member of for over 20 plus years, so I'm a huge Mustang fan, enthusiast. Even my email address ends with 65 Stang. So again, Mustang has been a huge part of my career in this business, and again, I'm a proud member of the MCA. But this is a magazine that I get every month. All MCA members get this. This is called Mustang Times. You can see this magazine. This was in 2014, November. And then there's an article that was written on the car. I'm not sure exactly what page it's on, but you can reference that in our photo gallery and see the article that was written. It talks about Marty Rupp. It talks about Tom McCool and his wife Lisa and the whole story and so forth. So that is included. Also, it does have an owner's manual that you can see in our photo gallery here. This is a reproduction owner's manual that also is included. We also have some other items that are included, so make sure to check out our photo gallery for all of those. Now, we've covered all of that. We can just kind of touch basically on the car itself. So the first thing I'm going to say is when you look at this car, obviously it has huge, huge character and eyeballs. It's very, very attractive. I think anytime that you get a color like this, especially when you complement it with a white top and white wall tires, it really stands out in a crowd. Kind of like we have a 57 Bel Air right now. It's like the same thing. It just has that really, really sexy look to it, which attracts people. So this car definitely has that factor. Talking about the body itself, I think he did a really, really nice job on the body. The body is straight. Again, a lot of sheet metal repair was done to this car. Obviously, it's been done now for quite some time, and it's held up very, very well. I think the hood opens and closes beautifully. So do the doors, the trunk lid and so forth. They did a really nice job on the body. Of course, the paint, again, that's the original Frost Turquoise paint, was laid beautiful. This is definitely a show quality paint job. Obviously, the car won some pretty prestigious awards, so you don't have to necessarily take my word for it, but you can see just by all the awards that it's achieved. Obviously, this is a very higher end show quality car. At MS Classic Cars, we did a great job detailing the outside of the vehicle. We really, really got the paint to shine. We did a really nice job just going through the stages of paint correction that we do here at the dealership. So again, the paint looks absolutely beautiful. The front windshield was replaced. We do have a receipt for that in this binder here. Even the original Ford car light stamp is there. It's all date coded. The glass, as far as the vents, the doors and the rear glass, that is all original glass. Again, it's all stamped glass. It's in very nice condition. Some of the parts on the outside were salvaged and restored. Some of them were replaced. I'm referencing things like the window trim, this mirror on the driver's side here, the front grille, the halogen headlights, the front bumper, the molding on the bottom, the door handles, taillight bezels, rear bumper, gas cap, etc. Everything is definitely in show quality condition. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, part of this package is those wheel covers. They just fit it perfectly, those 14-inch wheels with the white wall tires. Those are a Royal Tiger Paw tire. They're actually in really nice condition and fit the car very well. When we get into this interior here, I think the exterior color is very, very well complemented with this aqua and teal color interior. This is definitely more of like a two-tone interior. We got the sun visors up here that are very sturdy and solid. I will make one note on the rear view mirror. You will see in our description that we have a rear view mirror that's included. The one that's included is the original mirror. It wasn't in the best of shape. When you looked out the mirror, it was kind of fuzzy. We decided, MS Classic Cars, when we serviced this vehicle, we decided to replace the rear view mirror just so it would be more clearer and larger so people could see out of the back of it. This is not the correct mirror. I just want to make note of that. So if somebody wanted to take the car and have it judged again, they could easily put on the old mirror. But make sure to check that out in our photo gallery. The dash pad's in beautiful condition. The entire dash is absolutely spectacular. I'm referencing all the gauges. It's got this really nice black trim that goes down the center of it. All the door panels, brand spanking new. Again, they're two-tone. The driver's mirror does have a remote control that actually moves the mirror from the inside, which is nice. All the door hardware is brand new. All the windows roll up and down very nicely. The seats are in beautiful condition. They're super firm seats. Again, the seats have the two-tone pattern that kind of matches everything. There are seat belts in the front. There's a matching bench seat in the back, again with seat belts as well. There's this board back here, which actually comes with its own stand. Please take note of this in our photo gallery. This is pretty cool because it shows pictures of the car prior to the restoration, after the restoration, shows the car in all its glory, when it was built, some of the options it has, you know, who did the restoration, who the owners were. It has this cool piece that slides onto a display that you can use at car shows and so forth. All the carpeting was replaced brand new. Again, it's got this beautiful wood steering wheel. Everything in the interior is in working order. I will make a comment in regards to two custom features in the interior. Number one, at MS Classic Cars, when we serviced the vehicle, we actually got rid of the AM radio. The mechanism that actually dials the piece back and forth so you can find select stations, that was broken. So we decided to add what's called a custom auto sound, which looks similar to the factory original, but now you have a modern system with modern speakers. The original AM radio is included. The other custom touch to the interior is these carpeted floor mats, which match the carpeting perfectly. They have the Mustang logo on them. I just think they look really cool. So that's really the only two things that were modified in the interior from what the factory would have done. Again, if somebody ever wants to put the AM radio back in, they can, and you can also put in the correct floor mats down the road if you want to do so as well. Getting in to the trunk compartment of the car, you'll notice that the entire trunk compartment was painted body color, and once it was finished, it has the correct trunk mat and full-size spare tire cover. The spare is a matching 14-inch wheel. These wheels, by the way, they were all media blasted and cleaned up. These are the original wheels that are on this car, which is great. It does have a matching tire as well, and it does have the necessary tools. So again, you'll see that in our photo gallery. It looks beautiful in the trunk compartment. Getting into the engine compartment, again, it looks absolutely spectacular, highly detailed. Behind this hood here, it's again painted body color, the firewall, the strut tower braces, the inner fenders, the radiator support, everything was finished in the correct shade of satin black. As I mentioned earlier, the car does have its original 200 one-barrel carburetor motor. That is the engine that this car was built with. That engine has been completely rebuilt. That's documented in the binder with receipts that we have. That engine is actually dressed with a lot of correct features. You will notice that we have 2 air cleaners. The air cleaner that's on the car in all of our pictures, except one that we actually tagged, is the correct air cleaner for this car. The other air cleaner is a reproduction air cleaner that's slightly bigger. I think that is the better suited air cleaner for driving, but for our photos and here today, we use the original air cleaner. We also have a lot of correct parts on the engine compartment. I'm talking about the hoses, the wires, you know, you get into all of your alternators and things like that. Even the radiator is the correct Ford Moco radiator. So again, everything in the engine bay is correct in that regard. It even has a battery topper. It's got the manifold. It's got the single exhaust system that it breathes from. And as I mentioned earlier, the 3-speed transmission was converted to a fully rebuilt C4 automatic transmission that works beautiful. You can get in this car, start it right up, put it in drive and take off. Again, can't say enough about how well this car runs and drives. The underneath of the car is equally as clean as the rest of the vehicle. You'll notice that it is finished in a very similar color to what had been done at the factory, except it's more of like a textured material for durability. So again, the steering system, suspension system, braking system, fuel system, everything in this car was gone through really during the restoration period. And because it only has a few thousand miles, and because we just serviced the car, really this car is ready to rock and roll for the new owner to enjoy. So that kind of sums up our presentation here. I'll just make one note before I start it. If you have not signed up for the MS Classic Cars VIP email blast, please do that. We have thousands of people that subscribe to that. It's the best way to follow us. We also would ask that you follow us on social media. We are on all the social media platforms. I say it over and over again that MS Classic Cars isn't and never will be the biggest dealer, but we are definitely doing big things. Please do your homework on us and make sure you really do your due diligence, finding out who we are and what we do and what separates us from everybody else. So we're going to go ahead and start it and let you listen how beautiful she runs. Can't make that up. That's a cold start after 4 or 5 days of sitting. Fire it up. It absolutely purrs like a kitten. Can't say enough about how great of a job the guys do in service. We appreciate you watching this video. Rock and roll.